So until the time we are setting up, can I please request everyone to keep your phone on silent or maybe on airplane mode. Sometimes it just rings and just stops the class a little bit. And if, sorry, one more request, if the parents can just take care of their children as the class goes on. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, everyone. So we're very fortunate again to have the association of His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj. Maharaj went to Melbourne for a few days. He just only came back last night. He had a very busy day with meetings and so on, and his other programs. So we're very, very fortunate that Maharaj took some time and he's with us here today. So please welcome Maharaj with the big Hare Bol.
And where shall we talk about? What shall we talk about this evening? Bhagavad Gita. One thing is the children who are not eager to consider matters of philosophy might want to play outside and be happy. And I could take a Bhagavad Gita. I see there's one. And in my... All right, I need a number, 1 to 18. 9. Give me a number. 8. It's too close. 1. Okay. 9 plus 8 plus 1 is 18. Divided by 2. Still 9. Okay, so it's 9. 1 to 34, another number. 25. 4. 29 divided by 2 is 14. 14, 15, right around there. Yeah, 14. And if I get a copy of Bhagavad Gita as it is. Good. Thank you very much. Satatam kirtayanto mam.
Satatam kirtayanto mam.
Tantascha vrita vritaha.
Yadantascha yadanata.
Namasyantascha mam bhaktya.
Namasyantascha mam bhaktya.
Nitya yukta upasate.
Nitya yukta upasate.
Satatam kirtayanto mam.
Satatam kirtayanto mam.
Tantascha vrita vritaha.
Yadantascha yadanata.
Namasyantascha mam bhaktya.
Namasyantascha mam bhaktya.
Nitya yukta upasate.
Nitya yukta upasate.
Someone else?
Satatam
Satam. Always. Kirtayantaha. Chanting. Mam. About me. Vitantaha. Fully endeavoring. Sha. Also. Krithavrataha. With determination. Namasyanta. Offering obeisances. Sha. And. Mam. Me. Bhaktya. In devotion. Nitya Yukta. Perpetually engaged. Upasate. Worship. Always chanting my glories. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me. These great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Purport. The Mahatma cannot be manufactured by rubber stamping an ordinary man. His symptoms are described here. A Mahatma is always engaged in chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead. He has no other business. He's always engaged in the glorification of the Lord. In other words, he is not an impersonalist. When the question of glorification is there, one has to glorify the Supreme Lord, praising His holy name, His eternal form, His transcendental qualities, and His uncommon pastimes. One has to glorify all these things. Therefore, a Mahatma is attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Adhyāvantimirandhasya Gyananjanam Samakaya Saksharaviditam Vina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Padamahyam Tadhati Svatamantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatapatakamanam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagada Gagadatam Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Svadhutam Pravishana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Radha Kanta Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Krishna Chanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanshato Katajubhyascha Kripasindho Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Here we're following on from Mahatmanas Tumam Partha Taivim Bhaktimashrita in the previous verse, where the Mahatmas are described. And now the description is continuing. There's a story in regard to this verse that in the early 1970s, I think, the devotees in California, now we're feeding back a little bit. Hare Krishna, we're getting a little feedback now. Seems a little better. Let's see. Yeah, that seems okay. Devotees in California started in San Francisco, Berkeley, started a course at University of California, Berkeley, teaching Bhagavad Gita and so on. And one professor was there, Dr. J.F. Stahl, quite an eminent Indologist. And he was rather dismissive. He was quoted as having said that these people spend too much time chanting to give much attention to philosophy. And anyway, the Bhagavad Gita doesn't really call for chanting. So in this way he was sort of dismissive. And Srila Prabhupada wrote a letter, because that appeared in the university newsletter, I believe. Prabhupada wrote a letter responding to Professor Stahl and said, you've written that Bhagavad Gita doesn't call for chanting. I think you've overlooked this verse. And he quoted this verse, Satatam kirtiyanto mam yatantas chadridhatatam. And the correspondence went into several exchanges, and Dr. Stahl answered, yes, but kirtiyanto doesn't have to refer to chanting. It can be murmuring or reciting, or he gave several definitions. And Prabhupada accepted, yes, it can be reciting, murmuring. But about whom? About whom? And Prabhupada said the significant word in this connection is ma. And it's interesting, he's instructing a great Sanskrit scholar about the meaning of the word me. Ma means Krishna, the person who's speaking. So in the Bhagavad Gita, the Mahatmas, the great souls, are described as always glorifying Krishna. And that's a fact. The Satatam means always, constantly glorifying Krishna. Not that on Tuesday I give a lecture glorifying Krishna, and then Friday we have a pravachan about Ganesh, and then Monday we do a program for the Devi Wallas, and then, in that way, we're like Prabhupada said, like shopkeepers. We have every product in stock. But Satatam Kirtiyantam Mam, the Mahatmas are always glorifying Mam, Krishna. Mam means me means the person speaking is Krishna. So the Mahatmas are always glorifying Krishna. He has no other business. And it means the personality of Godhead. The impersonal absolute is described as anirvacha, beyond description. So where's the question of chanting about something which is beyond description? There's nothing to say. There's nothing to say. One who's attached to the impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmajyoti, is not described as Mahatma in the Bhagavad Gita. He is described in a different way in the next verse. The Mahatma is always engaged in different activities of devotional service, as described in the Srimad Bhagavatam hearing and chanting about Vishnu, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam, not a demigod or a human being. That is devotion. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu and Smaranam, remembering him. Such a Mahatma has firm determination to achieve, at the ultimate end, the association with the Supreme Lord in any one of the 5 transcendental rasas. To achieve that success, he engages all activities, mental, bodily, and vocal, everything, in the service of the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. That is called Krishna consciousness. So, Satatam Kirti Yanto Ma, always chanting, glorifying Krishna. Yatantas, endeavoring. Yatantas cha dritavrita. Dritavrita means determination. The determination. What is that? I'll remember the verse tomorrow. Anyway, Dhritavata, there. What is that? Yesham Svantakatam Papam Jananam Punyakarmana Tetvam Gano Mohanimutta Pajante Mam Dhritavata. Okay, you didn't have to wait till Monday. After being freed from the results of all sinful reaction, yesham tvantakatam papam jananam punyakarmanam, and performing pious activities, when one is finally free from moha, from duality, from illusion, nirmukta, and bhajante, then one engages in devotional service, vrita, with determination. If we want to achieve success in anything, then determination is needed. Whether it's sports, or it's studies, or it's romance, or whatever it is, there has to be determination. Otherwise, things don't really get rolling. When there's determination, then great success is possible. So, Krishna consciousness means determination. And not half-hearted, whatever. But our goal is great. We want to reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So for that we want determination. So that's described elsewhere. Ekeha Gurunandana. When our consciousness is focused, one-pointed, let me be Krishna conscious. Materialists call this fanaticism. We call it pure devotion and service. To be successful, one has to be single-minded, and then if you want to say single-minded in a derogatory way, you say fanatical. But one man's fanatical is another man's single-minded. If you're single-minded, focused, then success is possible. Another meaning of single-minded is brahmachari. Those who have a mind to stay single, they can be single-minded. And that's also very good for determination. The impersonalists, like we've already mentioned this, can't really glorify Krishna. They can't always chant about Krishna. And even if they do chant the holy name of Krishna, they're really thinking of something other than Krishna. that which is within Krishna, beyond Krishna, represented by Krishna. But they're not pure devotees, and they can't get this sublime result. In devotional service, there are certain activities which are called determined, such as fasting on certain days, like the 11th day of the moon, Ekadashi, and on the appearance day of the Lord. All these rules and regulations are offered by the great acharyas for those who are actually interested in getting admission into the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the transcendental world. The Mahatmas, great souls, strictly observe all these rules and regulations, and therefore they are sure to achieve the desired result. So these things are not just arbitrary to follow Ekadasi, to follow regulative principles. It's not just, well, why not? There's some sense to it. These things strengthen our determination to serve Krishna. Our fasting is not very terrible, but by a little fasting, one develops greater determination. And if we use that determination for advancing in devotional service, then it's very good. Some various rules, especially these 4 rules: no intoxicants, no gambling, no meat eating, no illicit sex. Without following these 4 regulative principles, where is the determination? It's very difficult. Yesham tu andakatam papam. Papam means sinful activities: gambling, meat eating, illicit sex, intoxication. These are the 4 main ones. Or Prabhupada said these are the pillars of sinful life. In a building, if you pull down the pillars, the whole building collapses. So the building of sinful life collapses when we follow these 4 regulative principles. Antakatam papa, when we come to the end of these things. Then we can engage with determination in the service of Krishna. So these are rules and regulations, especially no intoxicants, no gambling, no meat eating, no illicit sex. Free one from so much illusion and duality. It's very difficult for a person who's enchanted by illicit sex, or bewildered by intoxicants, obsessed with gambling, or contaminated by meat eating. Very difficult for such a person to understand the meaning of the importance of self-realization, the meaning of self-realization. On the one side, he wants to make spiritual progress, and on the other side, he's a doll of the material energy, a servant of his senses. So it's very difficult. But if one adopts these 4 rules, one becomes strong. Even in materially, one becomes stronger. But especially one develops strength for spiritual realization by following these regulative principles. As described in the second, and my godbrother Ravindra Srila Prabhupada has made this point several times, that he says these are not just moral principles. No gambling, no meat eating, they're not just moral principles, he said, but they're cognitive principles. By cognitive principles, it means that cognition means understanding. We can understand the truth when our consciousness is purified. And these 4 things contaminate our consciousness. So by following these 4 regulative principles, we purify the mind. The instrument of cognition, and therefore we can understand things clearly. We can see things as they are, and therefore these rules are essential. As described in the second verse of this chapter, not only is this devotional service easy, but it can be performed in a happy mood. One does not need to undergo any severe penance and austerity. We see Taipusham, people thrusting hooks into their bodies and tying carts to the hooks. And, you see? It's like, whoa, severe austerity. And we don't have to do that. I'll follow four regulative principles. That will be good. And Suzuka Karta live very happily chanting Hare Krishna. One can live this life in devotional service, guided by an expert spiritual master, in any position, either as a householder or sannyasi or brahmachari. In any position, anywhere in the world, he can perform this devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus become actually Mahatma, a great soul. Prabhupada said Mahatma is not just a rubber stamp, not just that a poet certifies us as a Mahatma for some reason or other, but actually a Mahatma means the person who is always chanting the glories of Krishna. All right, why don't we stop here and see if there's some questions and comments.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for the class. Maharaj, we spoke about determination. When does determination become over endeavor?
When does determination become over endeavor? Well, determination doesn't become over endeavor, but well, yes. When does it become over endeavor? Well, in that we may be guided by the spiritual master and the Vaishnavas, but in general, of course, it's over endeavor when we're endeavoring too much for material advancement. Then it quickly becomes over endeavor. We want more money, we want a bigger house, we want this, we want this, we want this, we want that. What is that? In the book. Jivasya tattva jigyasa narto yaschaya karmabhi. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the first canto, it said that one should just exert enough energy materially, enough effort materially, to keep body and soul together, and to meet our basic needs. That's what do we need? And what do I really need to live? Not so much. But people are working hard, working hard, working hard, working hard to get this, to get that, to get this, to get that. Putting themselves in debt and so much. That's over endeavor. Prabhupada said the simple means of livelihood. He's sometimes said simple living and high thinking. So most material endeavor is over endeavor. Beyond, all right, maintaining ourselves, it becomes over endeavor. Otherwise, for devotional service, practically there's no over endeavor. We've seen Lord Prabhupada coming at the age of 68, crossing the ocean and with no money and no contacts and no nothing, coming to America. Oh, Swamiji, that's over endeavor. No. Just see. We see devotees go all out to distribute books. When there's a special push, they'll stay out all day and night and distribute books. And they'll feel very happy. They'll feel very happy. And that's not over endeavor either. It's intense endeavor. But for the service of Krishna, where's the over endeavor? There's so many devotees of the Lord who've done so much, given everything to serve Krishna. But it's not over endeavor, it's proper endeavor. But one has to do everything under the guidance of the spiritual master. Over endeavor means I'm trying to do something which is not really fit for me. And it will be a failure. It's not the appropriate means. I may do it for a week or a month, but it's not sustainable. And therefore, just like Prabhupada gave the example that there was one African boy who came to Mayapur, and he built himself a little hut in the fields someplace, and he took a vow to chant 64 rounds a day. And within a couple of weeks, he was gone. He was over endeavor. Not over endeavor, inappropriate endeavor. If he put that much energy into preaching kirtan, then it would have been very nice. But he tried to do something which was inappropriate for him. And therefore it became over endeavor. It became over endeavor. So we have to take the prescription, just like in medicine, we have to take what's prescribed for us. We don't walk into the medical shop and say, give me the strongest thing you've got. We come with our prescription, my doctor has ordered me to take such and such medicine, and that's the right medicine for us. So when we give our heart and soul for that, for carrying out the order of the spiritual master, then it's never over endeavor. It's appropriate endeavor. Is that okay? Something else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the talks. This verse talks about determination, and in spiritual life we have highs and lows.
A little slower.
Sorry. In spiritual life we have like highs and lows. And this verse talks about determination. So how do we develop the sense of urgency when we are, going low in our devotional service?
Low is the time when you need to be determined. When you're high, you don't need determination, you just need to keep going. When you're low, you need determination. Well, that's natural. When it's easy, everybody's into it. When it's hard, now you have to get serious. But by sticking with it when it's hard, we make great advancement. It's easy to stick with it when it's all going rosy. When it's hard, then now I need some determination. But by sticking with it, yes, now we'll make progress. Did I give the example here the other day, the gymkhana in Bombay? In Bombay, across the wall from our temple in Juhu, there's a little gymkhana. And early in the morning, some young men show up there and do their exercises. And they're there every morning. And I'm sure that some mornings they feel bad. Feel like they don't want to come, or they're not really feeling that great, or sometimes they feel like I'm not getting anywhere. My biceps are the same size they were 2 weeks ago. So, but if they stick with it, then they develop strength. So spiritually also, just by sticking with it, that's called satatam, always chanting Hare Krishna, not just when I feel like it or when it's easy, but satatam, Your mama's working nityasha, regularly, always, steadily. Is that okay? And Krishna will see those. She's sticking with it, sincere. Over and over, I'm just reminded of a story. Arjuna Devi was traveling with Srila Prabhupada and other devotees by train somewhere in India. And Prabhupada wanted to ask for some hot rice. And, where do you get hot rice? We're not going to get hot rice from the lechas cooking for Indian railways. And somehow or other, she, by determination, she got a place in the Indian railway, in the railway kitchen car. She got everything, and she brought Prabhupada the hot rice. Yeah, and we would just would have thought, Swamiji wants hot rice. But she did it because she was determined. And somehow or other, Prabhupada has to, he wants hot rice, I have to get hot rice. So she did whatever she needed to do to get it. And that's determination. Something else. Apart from the sparrow that tried to empty out the ocean. Any other questions? Yes. You're getting a new microphone.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much for your time. Maharaj, how can a person check his advancement in Krishna consciousness, like in different stages of his life?
How do we check our advancement in Krishna consciousness? One answer is by seeing how we're enthusiastic to follow these principles. How we're enthusiastic to chant Hare Krishna. How we're enthusiastic to follow these regular principles. How we're enthusiastic to try to please the spiritual master. How we're enthusiastic about the activities of devotional service. It's a measure. It's not some abstract thing. But the more we see that we're enthusiastic to serve Krishna, the more we can understand we're making advancement. Anything else? Shall we stop here? Okay. Good. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Gaur Premanande.
His Divine Grace A.C. Swami Maharaj ki
Jai.